Opal Hendricks is 76 and lives on a fixed income, and every December the same quiet dread returns. The grandchildren, the gifts, the feast, the feeling that love is measured in dollars she doesn't have. Last year, she nearly put it all on a credit card, the way half the country does. Then she remembered her mother, who made Christmas magic during the Great Depression on almost nothing at all, and gave her children a holiday they talked about for the rest of their lives. Her mother's whole approach came down to one thing, and it's number one on this list. A Depression-era family made the holidays out of their own hands because there was no money to buy them, and somehow those were the Christmases nobody ever forgot. We traded all of it for a credit card and a pile of packaging. Now, with prices climbing and fixed incomes frozen, that old way is exactly what a senior needs. Opal's mother's habits run through everything that follows. Number 18 is what more than a third of people say they'd rather receive than anything from a store. Number 9 is a jar that erases the whole January debt. And number 1 is the secret that made Opal's mother's Christmases unforgettable on no money at all. These 20 habits aren't about a smaller holiday. They're about a richer one that costs almost nothing. Hit that subscribe button. Let's count them down. Number 20. Set the holiday budget first, by category. Before a single gift is bought, a depression-minded senior decides what the whole season can cost. You take the total you can truly afford, and you split it into categories: gifts, food, decorations, travel, and you hold to each one. Americans now plan to spend over $1,500 on gifts, travel, and entertainment, and much of it is spent in a blur with no plan at all. Opal writes her holiday budget on an index card in November and does not cross a single line. Her mother knew to the penny what Christmas would cost before December began. A budget set in November is the difference between a joyful season and a January of regret. Not a joyless spreadsheet, the plan that keeps the season from spending you. Number 19. Draw names instead of buying for everyone. A big family once meant a mountain of gifts until the thrifty found a better way. You suggest the family draw names, so each person buys one thoughtful gift for one other person instead of a small, forgettable thing for everyone. The giving gets better and the cost drops by 90%. Opal proposed it to her family, and everyone was quietly relieved. Her mother's household drew names from a hat every year, and the one gift each child received meant everything. Buying one good gift instead of 10 small ones changes the whole math of the season, not less love. One meaningful gift in place of a dozen obligations. Number 18. Make the gifts by hand. This is what more than a third of people say they'd genuinely rather receive than anything off a shelf. You make it yourself: a knitted scarf, a jar of preserves, a baked tin, a framed photo, or a small wooden toy. And it carries a whole season of intention no store-bought thing can match. The materials cost a few dollars against 20 or 30 at the counter. Opal knits and bakes her gifts now, and her grandchildren keep them long after store toys are forgotten. Her mother made every gift her children ever received by hand. A handmade present says you spent time, which is worth more than money to the person holding it. Not cheap, more personal and more lasting for 1/10 of the price. Number 17. Give experiences and time, not things. The best gift a Depression family gave was often no object at all. You give a coupon for a day together, a home-cooked dinner, a lesson in something you know, an afternoon of your time, the things a grandchild remembers far longer than a toy. It costs little or nothing, and it gives what everyone actually wants, which is you. Opal gives her grandchildren days with Grandma now, baking or fishing, and they ask for them all year. Her mother gave the gift of her attention, and it was the richest thing in the house. A child forgets a toy by spring, but remembers a whole day with someone who loves them, not a lesser present. The one gift that never ends up in a landfill. Number 16. Bake instead of buying the treats. A Depression kitchen made the holiday out of flour and sugar, and it still works. You bake the cookies, the breads, the pies, and the candies yourself, both to serve and to give away in tins, for a fraction of what bakery or boxed versions cost. The house fills with a smell no store can sell. Opal bakes for 2 days in December, and her tins are the gift the neighbors look forward to most. Her mother baked the whole Christmas from scratch and made scarcity taste like abundance. A tin of homemade cookies costs a couple of dollars and is welcomed at every door. Not more work than it's worth. The cheapest gift on the list, and the one people ask for by name.
Before we go on, I made something special for you. Guides for people like us who still believe the old ways mattered. They're the forgotten money habits our grandparents lived by, tricks that could save you thousands a year. But this knowledge is disappearing, and once it's gone for good. I've put together 2 books for you plus a free bonus. Imagine how much you could save over the next year by starting today. Scan the QR code on screen now or click the link below. I'll wait.
Number 15. Host a potluck. Don't cater the feast. The holiday meal need not fall on one wallet or one pair of hands. You host, but you ask everyone to bring a dish, so the feast is shared and no single person is buried in cost or work. The table ends up fuller and the burden lighter. Opal hosts the family dinner, but everyone brings a dish now, and the meal is better for it. Her mother's holiday table was built from what every neighbor and cousin carried in. 1 turkey and a dozen shared dishes feeds a crowd for what one person would spend on far less. Not a lesser gathering. A feast that costs each person a fraction and brings everyone to the table. Number 14. Reuse and make the decorations. A Depression family decorated with what they had, and it was beautiful. You reuse the ornaments year after year, string popcorn and cranberries, cut paper snowflakes, and bring in pine cones and evergreen from outside for free. Nothing new needs buying, and the handmade touches are the ones the children remember. Opal's tree is trimmed with ornaments her own children made 40 years ago. Her mother decorated with paper, popcorn, and greenery, and the house glowed all the same. New decorations every year are money spent on a box that lives in the attic, not going without. A holiday that looks like memory instead of a store display. Number 13. Give the gift of a skill or a service. The most useful gift a Depression family gave came from their own 2 hands. You give what you can do: a mended coat, a home-cooked freezer full of meals, a repaired lamp, a knitting lesson, an afternoon of yard work for someone who can't. It costs only your time, and it's worth more than anything wrapped. Opal gives her neighbor a winter of mended clothes, and it means more than any bought gift could. Her mother gave her sewing and her cooking as gifts all year long. A skill freely given is a gift that keeps arriving long after the wrapping is gone. Not a poor substitute. A present only you can give, made of what you know. Now, here is why this matters more than it ever has, and why the old way is suddenly the smart way. Nearly half of Americans go into debt for the holidays, carrying an average of over $1,200 into the new year. Debt that, at today's interest rates above 20%, follows them for months. For a working family, that's a strain. For a senior on a fixed income, it's a trap that can take a year to climb out of, on a check that never grows. Tariffs have pushed gift costs up by about $200 this year, and the retailers spend the whole season convincing you that love is measured in what you spend. It isn't, and it never was. A quarter of Americans spend nothing at all on their grown children, and the world keeps turning. Every habit on this list is a way to give generously and start January owing no one a dime. The holidays were never meant to be survived and paid off. They were meant to be enjoyed and remembered. Number 12. Shop the whole year and buy next year's gifts after Christmas. A Depression family never bought at the season's peak price if they could help it. You watch for gifts all year long at yard sales and clearance racks, and you buy next year's presents in the after-Christmas sales, when everything drops by half or more. The gift is just as good. The price is a fraction. Opal keeps a gift box in her closet and fills it all year at bargain prices. Her mother set aside small things whenever they were cheap, so December was never a scramble. The same gift bought in January costs half what it does in December. Not last-minute panic. Christmas bought slowly all year at the lowest prices there are. Number 11. Re-gift and repurpose with thought. A Depression family let nothing useful go to waste, gifts included. You pass along the unused item that would suit someone perfectly, and you repurpose what you have into something new, a jar into a candle, fabric into a bag, a frame around a favorite photo. Done thoughtfully, it's not cheap, it's clever. Opal turns her canning jars into gift jars of homemade jam every year. Her mother repurposed everything in the house into something worth giving. A thing you already own, given to the right person, is no less thoughtful for having cost nothing. Not tacky, matching what you already have to the person who'd love it. Number 10. Make the cards, don't buy them. A folded piece of printed cardboard for several dollars was never a Depression family's way. You make the cards by hand, or you write a real letter, and the children draw them in crayon, the ones grandmother keeps for 40 years. A packet of construction paper makes a whole family's worth. Opal has her grandchildren make every card the family sends. Her mother had her children draw every card, and they meant more than any stores. Store cards run several dollars each and are read once before the recycling bin. Not skimping, sentiment made by hand, which always carries further. Number 9. Start a Christmas jar in January. Here is the habit that erases the whole January debt. A Depression family set money aside all year for a known expense, and Christmas is the most predictable one there is. You put a few dollars into a jar or a separate account every week starting in January, so that by December the whole holiday is already paid for, in cash, before it begins. Opal drops $5 a week into a Christmas jar all year, and December never touches her regular budget. Her mother saved a little all year toward the holiday, so it never once meant debt. $5 a week is over $250 by December, the whole holiday in cash. Not restrictive. The whole holiday paid for before it arrives, and no bill in January. Number 8. Cook the feast from scratch and cheap. A Depression holiday feast was built from humble ingredients and skill, not expensive cuts. You choose the affordable centerpiece, a turkey bought on sale, a ham, a big pot of something hearty, and you make the sides, the bread, and the dessert from scratch for a fraction of the catered price. Opal's holiday table costs a quarter of what the store's prepared version would, and tastes far better. Her mother fed a crowd on a cheap cut and a hot oven, and no one ever felt they'd gone without. The sides and the bread and the pie made from scratch cost pennies against the boxed versions. Not a poor man's feast. A rich table built on know-how instead of money. Number 7. Skip the travel or travel cheap and off-peak. Holiday travelers now spend over $2,500 on flights and hotels, and a Depression family simply never spent that. You host at home instead of traveling, or if you must go, you travel on the off-peak days and book far ahead when fares are lowest. The gathering matters, the airfare doesn't. Opal invites the family to her instead of flying to them, and the house is full and the cost is nothing. Her mother's whole world was within walking distance, and the holidays came to her. Hosting at home turns the biggest holiday expense into no expense at all. Not missing out. Spending on the gathering instead of the getting there. Number 6. Wait, compare, and never panic buy. The holiday panic buy is where a budget dies, and a Depression family never spent in a hurry. You make your list early, compare prices before you buy, and refuse to be stampeded by a doorbuster that's often no bargain at all. The gift bought calmly costs far less than the one grabbed in a December panic. Opal shops from a list and never once buys in a rush. Her mother weighed every purchase, holiday or not. Many December doorbusters are no cheaper than the same item was in July. Not last-minute chaos. A calm, planned holiday that no marketing trick can inflate. Number 5. Teach the children what the season really means. A Depression family had no money for excess, so they gave their children something better, the meaning behind it. You focus the holiday on the baking, the singing, the time together, the giving to others, so the grandchildren learn that Christmas was never the pile of gifts. Opal takes her grandchildren to help at the food pantry every December, and it's become their favorite tradition. Her mother raised children who remembered the warmth, not the presents. A grandchild taught the meaning young carries it for life, not depriving them, giving them the part of the holiday that actually lasts. Number 4. Know the real prices and ignore the fake sales. A Depression shopper carried every price in her head and could not be fooled by a red sale sign. You know what things actually cost, so a holiday doorbuster marked up before it was marked down doesn't trick you. Many holiday sale prices are no lower than the regular price in July. Opal checks the real price before she believes any December discount. Her mother knew the true cost of everything and could not be moved by a storefront, and neither can Opal now. Not cynical. The one habit that makes every holiday marketing trick useless. Number 3. Give one meaningful gift, not a pile. A Depression child received one gift and remembered it forever. You give a single, thoughtful, well-chosen present instead of a heap of forgettable ones, because the pile is forgotten by New Year's and the one right thing is treasured for years. It costs less, and it means more. Opal gives each grandchild one gift she's thought about all year, and they remember every one. Her mother gave one gift per child, and those gifts became the stories they told their own children. The pile is forgotten by New Year's. The one right thing is kept for years, not stingy. The wisdom that one right thing beats 10 wrong ones. Number 2. Pay cash only. Start January owing nothing. The one thing a Depression family feared at the holidays was a debt that outlived the season. So you spend only the cash you have, from the jar you filled all year, and you never once reach for a credit card at 20% to buy a gift. The holiday ends when the last cookie is eaten, not months later when the bill is finally paid. Opal has not carried $1 of holiday debt into January in years. Her mother would sooner have given less than owed a soul a dime. A gift bought on credit at 20% interest quietly costs far more than its price tag. not a smaller Christmas. A holiday that's truly over when it's over, with no January hangover. Number 1. Give of yourself, not your wallet. Here is the secret that made Opal's mother's Christmases unforgettable, and it's the sum of every habit on this list. She had no money, so she gave what she had: her time, her hands, her attention, her baking, her songs, the stories by the fire, the ornaments made together at the table. The gifts were handmade, and the feast was humble, but the children were wrapped in her all season long, and that is the thing they carried for the rest of their lives. Not one of them remembered a price tag, because there weren't any. They remembered her. That is the whole genius the Depression taught, and the thing the modern holiday spends a fortune trying and failing to buy: the warmth of a person who gave herself completely. Opal gives that now: the days with Grandma, the handmade tins, the cards drawn in crayon, the full table paid for in cash, and her grandchildren are already telling the stories. Give of yourself, not your wallet. That was always the whole secret, and it never cost a dime. None of this required a big check, a credit card, or a single dollar Opal didn't already have. It required attention, the willingness to see that the holiday was never about the spending, and the courage to give from the heart instead of the wallet. The generation that made Christmas out of almost nothing understood something the modern season spends $1 trillion trying to forget. Comfort is not the same as joy. A pile of gifts is not the same as being loved. The ability to buy anything you want is worthless beside the gift of a person who shows up with their whole heart and their own 2 hands. Opal Hendricks gives her family a holiday now that costs almost nothing and means everything, because her mother taught her that the magic was never for sale. That woman made scarcity feel like abundance and sent her children into the world remembering warmth instead of wanting, and on her street, in those hard years, she was not the exception. She was the rule. They were never the poor ones. We are the ones who forgot that the best of the holidays was always free. This year, before the costs get out of hand, you can remember it too, and give your family the one thing no store has ever sold: